Back during the 5th generation, it wasn't uncommon for series originating in the 80s to get revivals, even if they were super obscure. Enter Pipe-Mania 3D, or as otherwise known here in North America, and in Japan as well, Pipe Dream 3D, which was a PS1 exclusive released rather late into the console's life, around 2001 for North America and Europe, and 2002 for Japan. This game attempted to reboot the Pipe-Mania series and to make it relevant again. And Empire Interactive, who you may have seen for a while during the 90s and 2000s publishing games, got Sick Puppies, yeah, that's the real studio's name, who originally made the Mac 4 Pipe-Mania, to develop the game. In the end, though, the game was unsuccessful, and it'll take another 7 years to see another reboot to the series, and a year later in 2009, Empire Interactive shut down. So did this game manage to stop the leaks, or was it like a broken pipe with holes that needed repaired? Let's find out. This game's lore is rather weird when compared to the other Pipe-Mania games. While the rest of the series usually have plumbers working on pipes, like you would expect, this game is about sentient pipes. I mean, I like object shows, robot-like creatures, and anthro characters in general, so I don't mind. In fact, I kinda like it. I mean, it definitely makes the game more fun and appealing. In fact, it's up there with a 2008 game in terms of lore in general. A strange, yet fun pick. But onto the main plot, we see our main Pipe, he has no name, just relaxing until a mysterious spaceship shows up, and oh, yeah, that was obvious, but funny. And as the spaceship moves on, it oh, yeah. Oh. Well, anyway, then it reaches the North Pole and plants itself in order to get the resources from the planet. It also reveals our villain, the Alien Queen, and after our main hero realizes what's happening, he goes on a quest to stop the evil queen. After that, though, there isn't anything plot related at all until the end cutscene, where the queen is defeated and the pipes celebrate. While I do get this game as a silly puzzle game, I feel like something extra development, like how Pac-Man World did for its plot, would have helped a lot. However, I still find the plot rather fitting for the game. I do like the direction they took with this game. The game's presentation is rather great for a late life budget game. The graphics, while not much in terms of scale, are rather nice and appealing. Each environment is rather distinct and full of life. In fact, the game only reuses themes thrice in the whole game. Rather impressive if I do say so myself, and is one of the reasons why it keeps the game fresh and interesting. The levels even have their own little pipe dudes you can see in the background, and have unique backgrounds for all 3 stages in a world, which is a nice detail. My favorite levels in terms of visuals include Amazon Zone, Space City Zone, Aquarius Zone, Pipe City Zone, Tomb Zone, Radiation Zone, Ruin Zone, and Space Zone. There are also 3 FMV cutscenes, and they look nice with nothing else to say about them really. The music, on the other hand, while it's nice, it definitely feels like a background music. The best example of such is Aquarius Zone, which feels like it was made in GarageBand. In fact, that's what the majority of the OST feels like. There is one exception, however, and that is Space City Zone, which sounds rather nice and calming, and adds a lot of atmosphere to the city itself. I also like the tracks to Ice Zone and North Pole and Space Zone, but other than that, these tracks in the OST just feel generic, but somewhat enjoyable, and they don't really kill the game that much. Still though, the presentation is great for a budget PS1 title, and has some great love and care put into it. It also helps the game stand out on its own, while still keeping the game charming and fun, while keeping that Pipe-Mania spirit with it. Now let's get on to the gameplay itself. The game structure is that you go on an island, then you select a zone, then you play 3 levels in that zone, complete enough zones, and then you move on to the next island, and repeat for all 7 islands. The gameplay itself, when you're in the levels, is like your average Pipe-Mania style game, where you have to place pipes to get into a goal and avoid leaking flues. There are also some differences as well, but I'll get into that later. So the big question here is, how are the stages in the game? For the most part, they're all fun, unique, and contain cool gimmicks. The first gimmick is stars, which do many things like activating the drain or raising and lowering the platforms. Speaking of the blocks, They also have different elevations. With short blocks, you may have to raise them, and with tall blocks, you can either lower them or bomb them to move on. Gems also exist in the game that do many things with the flues, but they mainly speed up and slow down the flues. One-way pipes also exist, which limit the directions of which way the flues can enter and exit. Finally, in terms of gimmicks, there's coins, which they mainly increase your score, but they also help you get to the end of some stages and will help you get extra lives. So that is all the gimmicks in the game. They help with keeping the game interesting and fun, whilst offering new and fresh surprises, as the game doesn't front load you with them and are introduces in different points of the game and give you enough time to understand the mechanics while not making any one of them drag out. Now let's talk about the controls. And while it is playable, I would have preferred a PC version that would have helped me the controls easier to use. Well, yeah, but that's overall just a nitpick, but yeah, that's something that really could have helped. Well, what's also bad about the game is that in clutch situations it won't allow you to place pipes until a few seconds later, which has really ruined some runs of stages that I just really wanted to place, but then I just then die. Yeah, just die. And it makes the game feel very, very clunky, despite the fact that the other controls are, for the most part, not all that clunky. Thankfully, you're able to lose some flues and manage to recover. Sadly though, you will not get that much of a score with little flues. Another part of the controls comes with the fact that the game doesn't explain how the flues speed up works, and I simply thought you couldn't speed up the flues for a long while until Ruin Zone's final level, where you're forced to do the speed up, and thus I got stuck big time on that level. So thus, in order to do it, you must speed up the flues by holding down the triangle button, that's like the default one, and then it waits for a few seconds to start up. Yeah, that is a little clunky, but the biggest issue, however, is the disappearance mechanic, where after a while, the pipes that are singular, or non-connected, will disappear. While useful for removing garbage pipes, this really hurts when planning out, since you won't be able to connect the pipes before they disappear. In fact, many times I'll place a pipe which is about to explode, and then I don't get the pipe in time, so thus making it explode, and I enter into panic mode, which really threw me off. The final and biggest issue with the game is how the lives. Yes, I did say lives in a puzzle game. While most puzzle games offer limited lives, or at least a continue systems, this game does things a little different. While your progress does save after each zone, and even offers passwords for people who do not have memory cards, you only get that much amount of tries in each level. So if you lose all your lives on one level, not only do you have to retry the entire zone, but all your lives and score reset as well. This is why all the scoring multipliers for stuff like loot bonuses and remaining fluids matter so much. So if you are stuck at one stage and lose all your lives, you're going to have to restart the whole zone. This especially sucks when you are at a super hard level and again get home or at the next level because you have very little lives, so thus you have to retry the whole zone again, including that level you were stuck on. Other than those flaws, however, the game has a nice and fair difficulty curve, and it's playable with no bugs or glitches encountered in my run at all. So that was Pipe Mania 3D, and overall it was a nice little adventure, especially for puzzle game fans. While it does have some flaws to it, it doesn't harm the experience all too much if you're aware of it and know how to deal with some of these problems. If some of it is too hard, I recommend you turn difficulty down to easy, or if you want more of a challenge, go to hard mode. If I were to put the game on my score scale, I would definitely put it on the 7 range, since it's a really good game and it's really has passion put into it, but it may not appeal to everyone, especially with some of its problems. Other than that, guys, well, it's the end of the review, so next time will be an update video because I feel like I need to explain a few things that have been happening in my recent life.